Greta Thunberg, Empath or Narcissist, Part 4. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. We continue our analysis of Greta Thunberg. We looked at her familial relationships and considered whether there might be narcissists lurking amongst her parents. Remember, the genetic predisposition can also come from further back in the lineage, and therefore, even if the parents are not identifiable as narcissists, the genetic predisposition can still come from grandparents or even further back. But we now turn to another aspect of the life of Greta Thunberg, which is often instructive in understanding what a person is, and that is intimate relationships. Intimate relationships often provide a very compelling picture of how a person behaves and what that makes them. When it comes to the analyses of famous and infamous people, we never truly know what has gone on behind closed doors, and invariably with these individuals, there will be some stage management of the relationship as presented to the outside world. Nevertheless, we still do receive information about tempestuous relationships. The fact that an individual has been repeatedly married and divorced, that there have been accusations of affairs, that they have perhaps had children born outside of their relationship, that they have been accused of infidelity or sexual assaults, etc., outside of the relationship. In some instances, there is the presence of a long-lasting relationship, which may well show a stable, healthy individual who functions with emotional empathy, or, subject of course to the evidence being looked at in the round, a narcissist that manages a particular facade with regard to their relationship, so that any devaluing behaviour that takes place, and it always takes place in some shape or form, never becomes public consumption. Your more evolved narcissists are more likely to be able to present to the outside world that they have a long-lasting and stable relationship, and that any suggestion of unpleasant behaviour is little more than envious rumour. In some instances, we may have other romantic partners of the subject speaking out about their treatment. Sometimes that tells us more about the person speaking out than it does the subject. But where there is a repeated pattern of people speaking out about the behaviours and the behaviours being similar, then that contains considerable weight. Whether it is past exes saying ours was a great relationship, he or she always treated me with respect, we always got along, or whether they're turning around and saying that it was an abusive relationship. The fact that numerous people speak out about it does contain considerable weight. Accordingly, it's important to analyse the intimate relationships to consider factors such as, has this person had a lot of them? Have the intimate relationships run onto one another, even possibly overlapped? Has this person a reputation for being faithful, or do we see instances of infidelity? Are there allegations of abuse or maintenance of a healthy relationship? Do we see that perhaps there's a facade in operation? Or is it the case that this is an individual who keeps their private life private and there is nothing actually to learn about it because it is normal, stable, healthy, one which functions on emotional empathy? Is it the case that the individual is known for having a tempestuous relationship? Are they known, perhaps, for shuttling back and forth between one person and another? Is the nature of the relationship rather unusual? Is there a suggestion that it's an open relationship, for example? These factors and others prove extremely useful in making a determination as to whether the person that we are examining is exhibiting emotional empathy and empathic traits, or whether they're showing various markers of a sense of entitlement, a lack of accountability, manipulative behaviors, and various aspects of the narcissistic dynamic. And therefore, it's crucial to look at this. Those of you who are familiar with other Tudorscope analyses will recognize the value of the intimate relationships. Now, in relation to Greta Thunberg, there is no actual confirmed public information about her having had any intimate relationships. She is only 22 years old, which means that conceivably, if she had started having intimate relationships, say from the age of 16, well, that only gives her 6 years. And whilst certain individuals could well fill up that time doing, for want of a better expression, a lot of shagging about, it still doesn't provide us with a huge time period to analyse, but nevertheless, it's still of significance. We're not talking weeks or months, we're talking years. Thunberg has kept her private, personal life just that, private and personal to her. There hasn't been any showcasing of relationships. That removes a potential narcissistic indicator. But not every narcissist feels moved to want to talk about every intimate relationship that they have, and therefore it's not determinative of itself. Instead, she focuses on her climate activism. In her interviews, she has explained that her activism leaves her with little time for romantic relationships, and she emphasises her commitment to the environmental causes rather than personal matters. Nevertheless, as is often the case with somebody that is famous, rumours have circulated, and it's been suggested that she has had a relationship with Swedish climate activist Joel Eriksson, and furthermore with Climate Museum director Anne Chatelain. However, Thunberg has denied that these are intimate relationships. Is that a denial because the suggestion that she has had those relationships is a threat to control? Is it a denial because that's the truth of the matter, that they are not romantic relationships? She has maintained that they are simply friends and colleagues. The speculations, admittedly, have arisen from her public appearances with other activists, but there's no other credible evidence. It's not that she has said that she's in a relationship with them, nor of the other people. It isn't the case that they've been seen kissing somewhere or holding hands. Indeed, it would appear that Thunberg's public persona is deliberately focused on her advocacy. And she has expressed discomfort with vulnerability in personal relationships, which she feels could detract from her message. This absence of confirmed romantic partners may well be indicative of the fact that she is somebody that hasn't had any, or that she simply kept them private, or where they do exist, that in actual fact there haven't been any problems with them. It's certainly the case that nobody has spoken out to suggest that she has difficult intimate relationships. Nobody has spoken out about her having lots of them. And therefore there is something of a lacuna in relation to intimate relationships. In essence, this doesn't confirm a whole host of narcissistic indicators, but it doesn't also mean that they aren't present in relation to other aspects of her life. Essentially, and unusually when it comes to an analysis, the nature of her intimate relationships doesn't actually furnish us with much information that helps us, other than to note she's not known for having any, she's not known for having many, and there's no suggestion of abusive interpersonal relationships. There's no suggestion that she has exploited them in any way. We're next going to move on to another aspect of Greta Thunberg's life, which shows a more controversial aspect to her behaviour. Join me in part 5.